On the Wings of Heroes, 2007, a historical novel for middle-grade readers by Newbery Medalist Richard Peck, follows young Davy Bowman as he navigates life in a small Illinois town on the eve of World War II. Told from Davy's first-person perspective, the story captures the profound changes that unfold for his family and community as the U.S. enters the war. Through rationing, collecting scrap metal, and buying war-saving stamps, Davy learns the meaning of sacrifice and the many forms heroism can take. The novel received a starred review from School Library Journal. Before the war, Davy recalls, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. Children played freely in the streets, enjoying long games of hide-and-seek, games even his father, Earl Bowman, a World War I veteran, would join. Davy and his best friend Scooter often hung out on the porch of their eccentric neighbors, Smiley and Jewel Heiser, listening to Jewel's dramatic tales of disasters like the Hindenburg and grisly farming accidents. Halloween is one of Davy's favorite times of year, especially watching his dad pull pranks on local troublemakers with well-placed buckets of ball bearings. Davy's older brother Bill, nearly 19, is away studying with the Civil Aviation Administration, preparing to become a military pilot. Earl, still haunted by his own wartime trauma, is uneasy about Bill's ambitions. The attack on Pearl Harbor abruptly shatters the normalcy of Davy's world. All the world before the war went up in far-off smoke and oil burning on water, he reflects. As the war effort intensifies, Davy and Scooter notice that the sleek Schwinn bicycle in the hardware store may be the last new one available for the foreseeable future. When it vanishes before Christmas, they accept the loss with hope. Their spirits lift when Bill returns home for the holidays and surprises Davy with his old bike, refurbished and repainted. To their delight, Scooter receives the missing Schwinn. The bikes, Davy says, pushed out our boundaries. School life changes too. An influx of new students, nicknamed 8 to 5 orphans because their mothers work in war plants, brings tension. Among them are the intimidating Big Beverly and her henchwomen, Doreen and Janice, who bully classmates and disrespect teachers. Students practice air raid drills, collect rubber, and bring in money for war stamps. By summer, rationing grows more severe. No sugar for Kool-Aid or homemade sweets. Mrs. Heiser starts a victory garden, and Davy and Scooter hitch radio flyers to their bikes to collect scrap metal in exchange for movie tickets. Davy and Scooter meet some memorable local characters, including Mr. Stonecipher, an elderly man who lives in a spooky, haunted-looking house, and Miss Eulalia Titus, a sharp-tongued, wiry old woman with a barn-stored antique jalopy and a house crammed with books. Meanwhile, Earl volunteers with civil defense and becomes the air raid warden for their street, often taking the boys along on his nighttime patrols. At school, the new year brings a new teacher, pretty Miss Landis, who quickly proves no match for Beverly and her crew. The girls steal her purse and perfume and are eventually caught shoplifting by a police officer. Miss Landis resigns, and in her place arrives the formidable Miss Titus, described as a walnut with a mustache. She wastes no time restoring order. A rat trap in her handbag puts an end to the girls' thefts, and she breaks up their war stamp shakedown racket for good. Bill joins the Army Air Corps and by summer 1943 completes his bombardier training. Before shipping out overseas, he returns home one final time. The entire town rallies for the war effort by holding a jalopy parade to collect old cars for scrap metal. Miss Titus donates her prized Pan American car, and Bill rides beside the jalopy queen. Soon after, he begins flying bombing missions in B-17s. At home, the family huddles around the radio for broadcasts from London, anxiously waiting for news and letters from Bill. Unexpectedly, Davy's grandparents arrive and move in. While Grandpa Riddle is gentle and quiet, Grandma Riddle is imposing and opinionated, quickly taking over the household. Her presence motivates Davy's mother to find a job, which, as it turns out, was Grandma's plan all along. She didn't want her daughter to sit at home worrying over the mail. Then the worst news comes. A telegram reports that Bill has been shot down and is missing. One evening, shortly after receiving the telegram, Davy finds Earl in the bathroom nursing an old war wound with a warm towel. Earl, noticing how much Davy has grown, briefly mistakes him for Bill. He shares the story of how he was injured in World War I and confesses he once believed his own service would spare his son from war. As Earl breaks down in tears, Davy gently says, "Be Dad." Earl replies, "I will always be Dad." When Davy expresses doubt about living up to Bill's example, Earl reassures him, saying he doesn't have to. Bill will come home, and he does. The family receives a second telegram. Bill has been rescued by French resistance fighters. That night, Earl and Davy go outside and fire the shotgun into the sky in celebration. Davy says he empties both barrels, one for each of my particular heroes, his father and his brother. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.